Hello. Um, Today we're going to cover a section of the Bible that is not in order with where we have been. We're going to go forward into New Testament when Jesus is here, and he is as in this Advent as Emmanuel. Emmanuel translates God with us. And the reason I'm going here is because there seems to be a a thing that really is not true that's been going around and has been and is somewhat justified for a very long time. And what it is the fact that Jesus does make it clear that in Luke 11, one of the four Gospels, that is recorded in a couple more of those Gospels as well. Who is your neighbor? Who is your friend? Everyone is not necessarily your good neighbor. We don't have to wish anything ill on them, but at the same time, you do not have to treat them with the same generosity necessarily as you do someone who really loves you, and someone that you know is your friend and who has a good moral compass, or is someone that you like being around because they treat you the way that you would you treat them how you would want to be treated, and likewise. So let's go ahead and get into this and document it. And we're 2 minutes in, and hopefully I'll have time to go somewhere else that I just saw here while I was doing this, and we can knock something else out of the park here possibly. So we're going to go into I'm kind of doing this backwards, but that's okay. I want to get this. First, we got to know who our friends are. So, St. Luke. Luke was a medical doctor. A little background on him before we can get into this. And Christ had a pretty good team that he had built and put together. There was some tax some politicians, doctors, fishermen, just the whole spectrum. He had it going on in his 12. But Luke was a medical doctor, so he writes really matter-of-factly. Let me see where I'm going to begin here. Okay, so what we have here is Jesus has been teaching, and maybe I don't want to start there. I'm going to start there. Verse 25, St. Luke, chapter 10. And I don't paint anything with too wide of a brush, man. There is good and bad and everything. So, and behold, a certain lawyer stood up and tempted Jesus, saying, Master, what shall I do to inherit eternal life? Verse 26, he said unto him, What is written in the law? How readest thou? How do you read it? Jesus asks him. I'm going to also make clear that in this time, what I'm calling a lawyer was not in the same stereotype that you will have in your mind as a lawyer today. These were Hebrew scholars. They were basically scribes, preachers, Pharisees, religious authority. They were in positions of power. Okay, these lawyers, they studied the law was the law of Moses. So you see what I'm getting at here. These are Christ, what should have been his husbandmen, that he is having to defend himself against here. So one has stood up, and he is going to ask Jesus a question, trying to trap him up or trip him up in his words. And that's going to be hard to do with God. So we'll see what happens. Verse 27. Jesus. First of all, Jesus in 26 just asked the scribe, the lawyer, the Jewish teacher, rabbi, how do you read it? How do you read what you just asked me? So if you was going to answer your own question, what would you say? So 27, the lawyer, and he answering said, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy strength, and with all of thy mind. And we have a semicolon here. And we're going to, of course, we love God through and through. And here he's going to say after the semicolon in verse 27, and thy neighbor as thyself. Okay? So he specifically says a certain type. Everybody is not your neighbor. Right? I mean, common sense. 28. And he said unto them, Thou hast answered right. This do, and thou shalt live. Verse 29. So Jesus basically said, yeah, you answered right. Do you love everyone as you love yourself? If that was the case, then you wouldn't charge yourself maybe the amount that you do, or you wouldn't have done certain things that you would. Anyhow, let's move forward. So the Pharisee, willing to justify himself, said unto Jesus, And who is my neighbor? So obviously I'm not off base here whenever we're talking about he's basically saying, who is my friend? I'm supposed to give my cast pearls before swine, figures of speech. The Bible does not contradict itself, and Christ is going to make it clear right here. So to put this to bed, you need to stay with me. Who is my neighbor? Okay, that's what he just asked, and Christ is going to explain to him in a parable. You know of this, called the Good Samaritan. Read it with me so you'll know what you're talking about later on. 7 minutes in, I'm moving forward. Verse 30 of St. Luke, chapter 10. We're not in Genesis right now, don't forget. And Jesus answering said, A certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho, and fell among the thieves, which stripped him of his raiment, and wounded him, and departed, leaving him half dead. This is Jesus Christ speaking, telling this guy who his neighbor is, and at the same time, by omission, who his neighbor is not, who is not his friend. Don't let men twist things and make you a victim whenever Christ does not expect that from you. Okay? Stay with me. We also need to bring in here Christ specifically for this. I would say a Levite and all the priest line. Also made it clear that the man in this parable, where did he go from? He left Jerusalem, and he was going to where? He was going to Jericho. Okay, this is East Coast, West Coast. For me to put this in a simile of some sort, the Jews and Samaritans feuded really bad. They did not like one another. They didn't really cross one another's paths, which, again, many would say that Paul ended up teaching the Gentiles, bringing grafted in the Gentile into the plan of salvation. Well, I think Jesus is kind of doing that right here, and he also offered this, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was a Samaritan woman at the well. I could be wrong, but I think Jesus was dealing with everybody, because everybody is his, and he loves all of his people. loves all of his people who love him and is of him and will be. Let me move forward. Let's catch up. We're in verse 30. So this guy was going from, this Jew was going into Samaritan land, and along the way, naturally, he was beat up, robbed, stripped of all of his clothes to embarrass him, and he was left for half dead. Let's go to verse 31. And by chance there came down a certain priest that way of his own people. So this guy was a priest now. And when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. He did. That's what he did. He just looked over, passed him around by. That's his peeps, man. That's his homie. You know what? Leaving him lay for dead, half dead. Verse 32. And likewise a Levite, a priest, again, of the priest line, of his tribes, of his lines, whatever, when he was at the place, came and looked on him and passed by on the other side. So he left him lay too. His kinfolk, man. I'm trying not to say man, we get no comfort. Verse 33. But a certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came where he was, and when he saw him, he had compassion on him. He looked at him and had compassion on him. He was not a Samaritan. He was a Jew. Okay? Remember that. Racist? No. Jesus Christ was not racist. He was, if you read this one, he's the most beautiful story you'll ever read of a person, of a strong man being a man and getting it done, walking it right. Verse 34. So that guy had compassion on him. In verse 34, and the guy went to him, the Samaritan went to the Jew, and bound up his wounds, pouring in oil and wine, and set the guy who was beat up on his own beast, and brought him to an inn, and took care of him. Verse 35, and on the morrow, on the next day, don't let words like that confuse you, okay? Sit them on the shelf, it don't matter. And when the next day came, when he departed, he took out 2 pence, and gave them to the host, and said to the host, take care of this stranger, take care of this Jew, and whatsoever thou spendest more than I just gave you, and volunteered of my own stuff, when I come again, I will repay thee. In verse 36, this is the money, alright? Jesus Christ speaking, verse 36, which now of these 3 thinkest thou was his neighbor? Question. Unto him that fell among the thieves. Question. Which one of those 3? The 2 that left him lay for dead? Or the guy who was not of his own clique or his own people? However I'm not sure. In this day and age, I really honestly am ignorant as to what I would exactly say here that could possibly not be offensive. Things are that way, but when you have Christ, you're kind of looking down on that. You're bigger than that, and it doesn't mean you're going to be perfect or anything like that, but things of that nature are, dare I say, become a little petty across the board. When you have Christ, you get things of the flesh become far less important. 37. So the lawyer that asked this question is going to have to answer one back, and he said, "He that showed mercy on him." Then said Jesus unto him, "Go and do thou likewise." So that did not make Jesus real popular among the Sanhedrin. Again, the Sanhedrin is the Jewish, the Hebrew kind of Supreme Court. There was the judicial system. There was kind of judge, jury, and executioners. They had a lot of power, and they did not appreciate being embarrassed and having to own up to their own rules and statutes while God was walking amongst them, taking care of business, putting things back on, putting balance back in through kindness, charity, love, and you see right here, no racism. No, sir. No racism, not at all. How far? We're 16 minutes in. Do I want to go into anything else? I don't think so. Maybe we'll save something for another day. I know things are fast, and times are hard for some, ridiculous, but remember, Jesus will take care of those that love him. Talk to him. It'll make his day. He will make yours, and you'll be blessed. I like my ghillie hat, and I like Superman. He's fun to watch. So it's always good to see you guys, and just make clear you don't have to be a second-class citizen. You do not have to put yourself out to be victimized, embarrassed, or bullied by anyone. That Jesus does not expect that of you. He makes it clear right here that he does not believe that he knows that everyone is not your friend and you're a good neighbor. If someone you know will skin you or abuse you, whatever, you don't have to go out of your way for them, okay? Throw a hand up, how's it going, wherever, be on your way. You really don't have to say anything at all. You do not have to smile and be happy-handed all the time. You know, if you know certain things, be wise as serpents, but be harmless as doves. Just do the next right thing. 18 minutes in, longer than I thought I was going to go. Love y'all. Till next time.